A warm welcome to you all to the 89th edition of the FD Zone. We're here today to watch a fascinating film about a Velakaran, a white man making films in Tamil, and also a film that evokes the developing years of Tamil film industry. Here we have with us the director of the film, Karan Bali, who is an alumnus of FTI Pune and co-founder of a very fascinating website called theapostol.com. I think with regard to an American in Madras, it would be nice if Karan you come onto the stage and initiate us to the film and why this film evokes the politics or the lack of archiving in our country. And yeah, please come. We are very happy to hear.
Okay, firstly, thanks to all of you for coming. I'll be honest, initially the film actually began more with the exotic element. That, an American and making Tamil movies. We gave MGR his first break. And that was what really kind of started me off to find out about Ellis Duncan. But at the same time, like what Madhavi mentioned about the archiving part of it, when I decided to use documentary as a form to document that particular era of Indian cinema and Duncan's life, that's when I really hit a stonewall, because we really don't have the culture of archiving. Maybe because right from olden days, our storytelling was oral in tradition. So in terms of archival material, there was very, very little over here. Even collectors down south like Film News Anandan, when one approached him, I actually got 10 photographs. It's fine if one's writing an article, do it with 2-3 pictures, but you don't make a film with 10 photographs. In terms of his films, he had made 13 feature films in India, hundreds of documentaries, in fact for Information Films of India, which became Films Division later over here. But again, one could only trace the 5 feature films out in India that existed. In that sense, one was really hitting a stonewall, but I think somewhere the internet age and the fact that Ellis Duncan himself was an American, one has to say helped to put this film together. Because as an American, it came to him naturally to archive his life. Once he archived his life, once he went back to America, he also had the foresight to give his entire collection of his entire life in India to the West Virginia State Archives. Duncan has written an autobiography called A Guide in Adventure with an author, Barbara Smith. Thanks to the internet age, I was able to contact her. From there, I got contact to the West Virginia State Archives. And really, I have to say that the film has really been put together thanks to America being over there and Duncan having the foresight to archive his life. In fact, not just his life in the world of films. I think what was very fascinating with Duncan, this could be a small little spoiler, I'll try to keep it as minimum as possible. But the fact is that people like Duncan, and especially when they were in foreign lands and they saw history happening, they wanted to be a part of it, they wanted to cover it. In fact, he gave up bits of his busy film career to actually join the British government as a photographer in World War II. Help them to make propaganda films, help them to do documentaries all over the country. And when India was gaining independence, he photographed, as a still photographer, a lot of photographs in terms of India's march towards freedom, the transfer of power, and even in fact, though Bombay did not face the brunt of it like areas in Punjab, but there were areas of Bombay which did suffer, like in Parel, Hindu-Muslim riots, and Duncan did cover those rights in that time. I think it's a classic example, I think somewhere of where, if I don't know how many of you have seen Celluloid Man about P.K. Nair and his efforts in creating the NFAI. But again, looking at the lack of archiving here, I think it's Mr. Anand Murthy who says that America has an okay history, but a glorious past. We have a glorious history, but a very okay past, if you really look at what we have.